The numbers are in. If you have ever wondered how much time you should be putting into aim training to get the most benefit, then wonder no more. I have seen a few posts from this guy, Establishment OK6147. He has put out a few posts on Reddit about Kovacs, aim training, and the numbers. And so I wanted to go over all of his posts, top posts, so that we can start to get some real, truthful data on how much you should be practicing day to day. And I'm gonna make a guess that about maybe 45 minutes to an hour, I would be surprised if it's as little as 30 minutes, is going to get the most benefit. As someone with 5K hours in Kovacs, and I play on a controller full time with no aim assist, I want the best aim absolutely possible. Still want to play Call of Duty. I would say you get another big jump from maybe 2 to 3 hours. But here we go. I have all of his top posts up here. Aim training progression over time, what data from 24,000 players reveal. Average Kovacs players progression by start year and play count. Skill level normalized versus Pasu Voltaic, which is interesting because I did play 1,000 runs at Pasu. So starting at the bottom of the number, start year 2024, 1,000 to 2,000 plays. Only 151 players did that. That is going to be, I am colorblind, dotted blue, I can't recognize that color. Top numbers, start year 2022, 0 to 1,000 plays, 766 players. So I think it's just plays in general, which is quite interesting. It's not just Pasu plays, very interesting. I'm gonna also need y'all to comment down what the numbers mean and if I am interpreting it wrong, because I am color, I can't recognize these colors. Move on. I've always been fascinated with the rates of improvement depending on time spent tracking, so that's why I put together this analysis. Generally understood, more practice leads to more improvement, which is what I would have thought. But I wanted to quantify this in terms of actual numbers. Here we go. Methodology. I collected data for 24,000 players and normalized their scores to a common performance metric. I then grouped players by their start year and total count to compare average skill progression. Findings. Players with higher total play count get to higher skill levels. This is expected since more practice leads to more improvement. However, when comparing players with the same total hours played, the rate and density of practice matters. For example, let's say the green line, 250 hours played in 1 year, typical for 2024 starters, leads to much higher improvement than 250 hours spread over 3 years. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, putting in consistent time, which I guess could show, I mean, you should be playing daily. This suggests that consistent, higher frequency training 4 times a week results in significantly better progress than low frequency, long duration training 2 times a week over years, which makes sense. Yeah, I think it is pretty true neurologically that humans do really well with daily repetition, something you hear a lot. Interpretation, here we go, because I have no clue how to read these numbers. So there is a minimum practice intensity needed to avoid plateauing, which is quite interesting because, I mean, something I'll run into and something I hear people say is that they plateau, but it says practice intensity. So I'm guessing it's not consistency, but how focused the practice is, how much the practice is. I still am of the belief that you can put in 5 minutes a day and see benefit. But then again, I am pretty 100% on that 5 minutes a day needs to be intense, like really focus on something very specific. At low skill levels, almost any practice leads to progress. That makes sense. At mid skill level, you need consistent weekly practice to continue improving. At high skill level, gains require sustained practice effort, or else the player simply maintains rather than progresses, which also makes sense. I will say though, and this could just be a bit mental, I think because when new cards drop, I'll stop playing Kovacs for a good 2, 3, 4 weeks. I would be curious to see if you get any baseline improvement from consistent practice, because I feel like I dropped a little bit after stopping playing Kovacs, and then when I start up again, my aim feels nice and sharp, but I have to keep practicing. Additional observations: players who started in recent years begin at a slightly higher 5% initial skill level. This is likely due to improvements in sensitivity, tuning guide, scenario selection, knowledge, general aim, training culture, accessible coaching, and community support. Bro, this is what I'm saying, man. Listen, sometimes people will say, bro, like Kai has almost like 5,000 hours in Kovacs now, and the aim will be as it is. Could be cleaned up in a lot of areas. Bro, when I first started controller aim training, there was nothing, man. You think there was not much with M&K aim training? Bro, for controller, there was nothing. And so just simply putting out this content, bro, drop a like, man. What are we doing? I've had to go and just brute force my way through all of this. Start putting out this content finally after 5 years. But yeah, starting at 5% higher is, yeah, it's insane. For controllers, I'd imagine it's a good amount bigger, like a bigger starting. Dude, I had to figure out how to set up a controller. I had to figure out what controller to get, figure out scenarios, how to train, so much. Key takeaways: improvement is not just proportional to total hours played. True, yeah, okay. Improvement is proportional to the frequency and consistency of those hours. Yeah, I'd be interested to know if it's like 30 minutes one day, then the next day you can't aim train, but you still kind of force yourself to get in. Let's say you do an hour a day one day, then 10 minutes because you don't have time that day, and then an hour a day the next day, 10 minutes the next day. I wonder if just some training would still lead to more improvement than just straight up skipping a day. The practice requirement increases with skill level. Okay, that is interesting because I'd guess like you might just have to keep going up in the total amount of hours you play, which also I wonder if that could be bypassed because I still want to play COD, but I'm far out future. But if some type of like AI, not cheating, could watch my screen as I play, know when an enemy's on screen, and every time I aim at an enemy, give me like an accuracy score, could I technically aim train and get immediate feedback and a score like as I'm playing and get feedback from that? Maybe. The practice requirement increases with skill level. New player benefit from a more optimized training environment and start stronger as a result. A serious player should aim for 4 to 6 training sessions per week to stay above the plateau threshold. I'd imagine 4 to 6 training sessions per week would be like actual focus, real sessions as well. So that is quite a lot. And also, even with myself, I highly doubt a lot of people are doing like 4 to 6 actual sessions. 2024 improvement summary: 15,000 plays, 500 hours, 62.5% average aim improvement. 7,500 plays, 250 hours is a 52% improvement. Wow. You can do half of the time put in, but only get like what, 10% less gains? That's not bad. 3,700 plays, 35% improvement. 1,700 plays, 20% improvement. Yeah, I would love to post like this so much. Like, bro, one day in the future, I gotta hire a guy like this so we can just get numbers on cool stuff, man. Best advertisement for Kovacs I've seen: Jeff Nippard in Kovacs before GTA 6. Data is beautiful. Yeah, stuff like this is so cool. But we got more. It would be sick to kind of get that same data for myself. But one thing I know for certain is when I started using controller back 5 years ago, the improvement that could be made was nowhere near the improvement that can be made now, especially because I'm putting all of these videos out. But if you enjoyed this and want to improve even faster, I have taken all of my YouTube videos and turned them into the only valuable parts. $5 a month, you can join the Patreon, get quick info only, just the drills, tips, settings, no fluff, no intros. None of these rants that I'm making right now. Just upgrade your aim, 0 wasted time. Like the video.